Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the third episode. I believe it's the third one, or is it the fourth? Third, I think. In creating my procedural version of my Python logger module in Python. I just explained that. Okay, moving on. Last time we got the logging working with the console. This time we want to get the file and database login. So let's work on the file first. So let's just jump straight in. So first of all, let's just run it. There you go. You can see it's all working. Everything works. Fantastic. If we go in production, we don't get debug and trace, as you can see. So let's go back to logger here. I'm going to go back to debug as well. Let's go into this function here. And let's start implementing it. So we first need to check if os.path.exists for the logger underscore instance file underscore path, because we need to check if that file path actually exists. If it doesn't, then that's a problem. So then we're going to do try file is equal to open and logger underscore instance. And then in here, we will have file underscore path plus str logger underscore instance ID. And then we will want to have dot replace. Oh, wait, is it? No, it's not. It's not ID. What am I talking about? No ID. It's timestamp file login timestamp file underscore logging underscore timestamp. That's the file name. That dot replace. We want to replace all the dashes with underscores just to make it more compatible with older versions, I guess, and some new versions. It depends of different operating systems and things. So that's why we're doing that. And then plus str. We don't even need str.log like that, right? And then simply append a. So the mode is a append, basically. Why is that throwing an error? Because of, yeah, that's fine. So next we want to do file.write. And in here, what we can do is say, first of all, logger underscore instance ID to get the ID, plus then the closing bracket and space, plus timestamp, plus like that, plus header, plus space, plus message. Why is that doing that? Message plus \n for a new line. Perfect. So that's our log message. Then we do file.close. Like that. Fantastic. Okay. Accept exception as E. There we go. We do still have an error though here. Logger instance. There we go. That fixed it. And in this exception, we want to get the current state of our toggle file logging. So we want to know if it's currently logging or not, if we've got it enabled. So we do logger instance toggle underscore file underscore logging, so that later on, if it is enabled, when we disable it, because we're going to temporarily disable it just to print something to the console, if it is enabled, we want to disable it, basically. So we are then going to do set underscore toggle file logging to false. And we will do the same. Oops. And then we will do fatal and error occurred. E, like that. Okay. We'll just do that. And lastly, then set underscore toggle file logging current like that. Okay, so we set it back. So this just allows us to log to the console. Now, I've just noticed a bug. We're not doing it with database logging, which means if we're enabling database, we actually need to also disable that temporarily. So what I'm going to do is update that in the GitHub code, but I'm not going to show that here. That can be a little challenge for you. If you did notice this bug before, well done. But yeah, there is a little bug that we do need to make sure we fix. So I am going to get that fixed, but it is really easy to do. It's literally the same as the file logging stuff. So you just need to basically create a new variable called current toggle db logging, set it to the db version of this, then do this but for db, and then do this for db as well. That's it. Those 3 lines need to be duplicated, but for the database logging. That's it. This one doesn't need to change at all. Awesome. Okay. I'm also going to put this in str like that because it's throwing a little bit of a error. Doesn't like it. Okay. So now that we've done that, we can do else here. And we want to do the exact same thing again. So we're just going to copy all this. And instead of an error occurred, we're just going to say file path for logger is not valid. And we don't need this here. Just close that off. Fantastic. And toggle unfilled. Parameter toggle unfilled. Oh, because we need the instance. I'm silly. Logger underscore instance. Like that. So make sure we have that here as well. Okay. Logger instance just like that. Fantastic. Okay. So let's test it. Let's run it. Nothing happens. Fantastic. Well, the reason that is because we haven't enabled it. So let's go here and let's do false true for file logging. False. Let's do false for both of them for this one, just for now. Just so we can test one of them works. And then if we look in here, we get file logging works for my logger 1. Now let's turn it on for both of them. We can run it. And we get another file, and we get both of them. Perfect. It's all working. Fantastic. Now we can actually move on to the database. So let's enable this to true. And let's start implementing it. So this one's really simple. It's only a couple lines of code. So if logger underscore instance con is not none, and logger instance cursor is not none, then we can simply just do logger instance cursor and run a query. .execute, and in here we will do insert into logger times stamp, into logs, and then that timestamp header and message. And then we have values, so we just set 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and then we just do this so that we can actually put them in, which will be str logger instance id logger instance again. Is it logger instance? Yes, it is, because we need the... No, it's not. It's the timestamp, so we don't need that. We just do timestamp like that. str. And in the next one, we need the header, so we just do header and str again. And we do message. Fantastic. So that should all work. Now, there is one last thing we need to do, and that is logger instance con.commit, so that we can actually save everything and make sure it all works. So now with that, if we run it, we get a database file. Awesome. So let's actually go here and open that up. So call this, I'm just going to call it T because I don't really care what it's called. Just need to make sure it's there. I'm going to quickly put this on a new screen so I can quickly get to the project. Proc, there we go. And we'll go to logs and logs.db. Okay, run it, open it, tables, logs. And as you can see, we have our logs here. So let's go back here. Let's run to production. Let's run it again. And if we go back here, we test it. As you can see, we don't have any debug or trace messages. Now, if we go back to debug real quick, in production I meant, sorry, not debug. If we go back to debug and we enable true for both of them to log to the database, and we go back, we will now have it logged. Awesome, both of them. As you can see, logger 1 and logger 2. If we go back to production and we run it again, we should have the same thing. Awesome, it's all working. Fantastic. So with that said, we currently have a logger that currently logs to the console, files, and a database successfully. Very well done to everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed, and if you do have any suggestions for any other projects that you'd like to see, feel free to let me know. With that said, here's the end of the episode, so I will see you next time. Bye.